DeMeco, it's hard to kind of chart sacks and these things, but it seems like Sampson was getting a decent amount of pressure the last 2 days. Is he, I don't know, in your estimation, kind of continuing where he left off at the end of last year?
I think with Sampson, that towards the end of last year, he definitely started to ascend as far as when it comes to pressuring a quarterback. He started to gain a lot more pressure. I think the more comfortable he got just playing the position, and he's picked up exactly where he's left off. So here in camp, he's been doing a really good job of continuing that, getting pressure, doing those things, all the things that we ask him to do. So Sampson is definitely a guy who's getting better up front.
Charles Amenu, who also really picked up steam there toward the end. I noticed he was lined up at tackle a couple times today. Is that kind of like the Armstead situation? And last year, also Arden Key was inside. Do you see that? Do you want to use that athleticism against guards?
With all our guys, whether they're ends or tackles, all those guys will move around as much as possible. So it's nothing that's kind of set in stone right now, right? We're just working on technique, fundamentals right now, and just putting guys in as many different positions as possible to see what they can do. So, Charles has done a good job. I think this has OTAs has been very beneficial for him. Like, he came in mid-season, so for him to get all the groundwork, day one fundamentals of how we play D-line, I think this has been huge for him. So I'm happy that he's able to get these OTAs under his belt. So he's going to be much better for us just because he has a really base level of how we do things now.
What's been your assessment of having Nick Bosa back in here the last couple of days, just how he looks? Does he look leaner? What's his mindset?
Nick is looking great. Nick is looking great, just like he left here. So it's great to have him here, just around the guys. That's the biggest thing for Nick, being around the guys, just building that camaraderie, during this time here in the off season. It's about those guys just working together, being out there, going to dinner together, whatever, as much time they can spend together to become as tight as possible as a defensive unit, as a team, and that's what matters most. And Nick is looking great. Excited to have him back in the building.
Trey said he noticed a different energy with Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel in the building. Did you feel that change?
Yeah, for sure. We go to minicamp and you get some of our big-time players. Trent, Deebo, Bosa coming back in the building. Those guys are not only the talent that they have are definitely top-notch, all-pro players, but they bring a different energy to our team. They are big-time playmakers, but they're also big-time personalities as well. So they bring good energy. Deebo is, giving the defense a hard time out there. It's just great to see Trent. Trent picked up right where he was left off. So it's great to have, your best players here, and it makes practice a lot funner.
Trey Lance completed a couple of long touchdown passes on your defense today. How much stress has he been putting on your secondary this offseason?
Trey has done an outstanding job. I think each day Trey has gotten better and better and better each day. So, again, another guy who's benefited from having these practices, these OTA practices. Trey has done an exceptional job, and I know we're proud of where he is right now. And defensively, defending him has been tough. He's, like I said, he's putting the ball on the money every time he throws it. The accuracy is there. The deep ball is there to show whatever he wants. Like he can zip it in there and make a lot of plays. So I'm excited for Trey and what he can do. And he's setting himself up to have a really good season for us.
You obviously have talked about Johnny Holland in the past and your relationship with him. Just from your perspective, how has he handled his health battles, and have there been times during his journey where you've been really concerned for his well-being?
Johnny is just throughout the entire process, he's just been unwavering, and it's just in his faith, just how strong he is, just as a man. He's been very, very steady throughout the process, which it's encouraging for me and for everyone else around the building just to see him and the way he's handled himself through it all. If he was having a bad day, it'd be hard to tell if he is having a bad day, but he's handled himself very well. It's been a professional through it all, and I'm just proud of what he was able to do, the people he's able to encourage with the things that he's going through, right? And Johnny never has a bad day. Always has a smile, never has a bad day, always in great spirit, always great energy. So he's been great throughout this entire process, and I've learned a lot. Just how do you handle difficult situations? you keep going no matter what. You keep going. You stay positive through it all, and it's just great to see where he is now.
You obviously can't measure something like this, but how much inspiration do you think you guys maybe drew from him, even last season and into the playoffs?
I think it's huge just for all the guys, the entire team. They know what he's going through. Not only the linebacker group for sure. I think those guys came together and played well, towards the end of the year. But I think just overall, when you know what someone is going through, you know how tough a battle it is, and we all in life have our own personal battles, struggles. Just to see him just persevere through it all, and that just encourages everyone around. Like, man, what we're going through is nothing. We can all get through whatever it is, whatever you have going on in your life, you can make it through. Just keep the faith and just keep pushing, keep persevering. You can make it through anything you're going through in life.
We were talking a couple weeks ago about some plays he left on the field last year that were maybe the difference between being an All-Pro and being the player he was last year. What was that? Jimmy Ward. What does he need to do to sort of make those plays to sort of take him to that next level?
I think Jimmy is an all-pro player. Sometimes those accolades, they can't come to everybody. Jimmy just has to remain the course and just go play football. Jimmy is one of the best football players I've ever been around. Just his instincts, his feel, playing that safety position, he is a really great football player. So sometimes the accolades, they don't show up. He just has to keep doing what he's doing, right? And he's continuing to get better. And Huff out there with him, they're both, I feel like both of those guys are working well together. And Jimmy will, if it's meant for him to be all-pro, he just keep playing ball. He doesn't have to worry about that status. That'll come. You just play ball, have fun, do what you're supposed to do, and those accolades and things will come.
When you were doing your off-season homework, did you take a peek at the Jets just from a schematic standpoint? Do you give Robert Saleh a call, talk scheme, or you guys doing different things now?
No, I haven't. I'm just studying. No slight in, but I've just been studying what we do and how can we get better defensively. So the off-season homework for me has just been, man, what do we do well and what do we have to improve on? So really just diving in to see how can we be better, situational football. Right, how can we be better? How can our guys play smarter? How can our guys play better technique? That's what I dove in on this offseason.
How much better is your cornerback core this year than it was a year ago?
I think our guys have a chance to be really good. Corners adding Mooney. E-Man has done a really great job this entire offseason. Ambry still is improving, still has a ways to go when it comes to improving. He's working at it daily. So all those guys, there's a lot of competition back there. And the young guys we brought in with Tariq and Samuel, those guys have done a great job of coming in and doing what they're supposed to do and really pushing those guys. So it's a really good group, and I like where we are. It's going to be great to see those guys coming back and coming into camp when it's really real football and time to take off. So I'm excited for where they are now, and they can still improve and get even better. So it's going to be exciting for me to watch that.
What are your initial impressions of Drake Jackson?
With Drake, first off, just getting Drake, didn't think, just happy to have him because we didn't think he would be there at that spot. So getting Drake was an awesome pick for us there. And I think he has really great ability, and he just has to keep working. He has the ability to get to the quarterback. And if he keeps working, keeps getting in there with Kasaric and learning from Bosa, learning from Eric, learning from Sampson, right, just diving in and really detailing out his job, Drake has a chance to be a really good player for us. So sky's the limit for him. He just has to keep working, keep improving daily.
All right. Thank you guys. We have Coach Schneider here.
How's everybody doing?
Good. How you doing? Great. What made this the right opportunity for you?
First of all, Kyle. I've had great respect for him over the years, not only personally, but just the team and the organization. Playing against these guys for 11 years, a couple times a year, one time, 3 times a year, I had great respect for the way they play. I've always thought this is the most physical opponent when I played against 49ers. And it was just a right time to come here for me and my family to make a transition.
Do you remember the last time the 49ers had a punt return for a touchdown?
Nope. Hopefully we'll get one soon.
Came against your team in 11,
Ted Ginn.
first game of the season, I think. Ted Ginn.
Yes. Thanks for reminding me. That was my second year there, first game of the year, and we've all had games like that, and that was one of the all-time worst. But yeah, no, I remember that well.
So it's a little drought here, but I guess my question is that becoming a more rare thing in the NFL, that the coverage units, the punting has become so good that it's difficult to have?
I think the biggest thing is the punters have become so good at playing keep away, at different punts that they've done. Just the different talent level of the punters has really changed, probably more than the coverage, I would say. So just the level of that play has really changed.
There was a big emphasis on special teams personnel this offseason with Oren Burks, George Odom, and it just seems that the front office made that a big priority. What are your thoughts on some of the new pieces and how they can help the unit?
Oh, really fired up. You know, when you look at those guys that we brought in, I think they're even better than I originally thought on tape, which is awesome. Burks just is such a good athlete, and that was really obvious on the tape. But even when you get to work with them, it's even better. Odom is the same thing, and you know, when you get those guys in a room and you get to talk with them every day, you get to coach them, and you see how hard they work, not only in this setting, but on the field. It's just really exciting. There's no question why they have the reputation they have. And then you throw Ray in there, and that's just unbelievable. So I was extremely happy at the time, and I'm probably even more a little excited now that I've worked with them.
Did you have a chance to lobby for some of those signings?
You know, they always ask me, and I always try to, because we evaluate everybody, right? And they were at the top of my list. And so when I said to them, this is who I think is the best, who I like the best, and hopefully it works out the way they see it too. And I try to stay away from all the money issues and all the big-time decisions, and hopefully that fits into our team. And for that, it did. So we're really excited about that.
When you stepped away, was it always your intention to return to coaching?
Yeah, I think so. It's you know, life happens, and you start walking through some things. And but I always knew this is what I was always made to do, and the passion I have for it, that never changed. So I was just happy to get the opportunity here. It's perfect for us.
Why you stepped away, or you want to keep that private? Or?
Just personal stuff. You know, we all have things we go through in life, and just it gave me a new perspective to be able to step back, which looking, I'm very fortunate to be able to do that. You know, when you have 4 kids and a wife, and you know, it's just life. And so new perspective on a lot of things, and I know that's made me a better coach, being able to step away and really to feel how important this is to me.
What did you do last season? Did you stay up with the game? Did you watch?
I bugged my wife a lot, number one. Bugged my wife a lot. That was the number one thing I did. But it was an opportunity to watch my youngest son play football every weekend. I kept in contact with friends, but I really kind of stayed away and looked at the whole game and the whole experience from a distance, and which, again, was a really cool experience that, I don't know, I just needed to go through at the time. So it was and I didn't know what was going to happen in the future, and I was okay with that. But it was a great time to reconnect with my family. I got to see another son who coaches in Montana. I got to go to a couple of those games, which I've never been able to go to. I got to visit a daughter in San Diego. I got to see a son in Colorado. So things that I've never experienced were really cool to do. So
You're in the grind every day, taking some time off. Do you think you come back as a better coach, more perspective on whatever, how to relate to players, scheme-wise, whatever?
absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm the best I've ever been in terms of all those things. And it just gave me a different perspective. And, you know, I know what it means to me. And I know, again, I've always loved this job so much, and I love being around the players and around the coaches. And to have this organization, the type of people that are here, it just reinforces that. So, yeah, there's no question I'm better because of that.
You mentioned some of the newcomers on your units. When you went back and you looked at the film from 21, you know, as far as the carryover players, which of those guys kind of stood out to you?
Well, you know, instead of looking at it that way, I just look at every of the 90 people that are here, you know, and the history of playing against this organization, I've known all the players throughout, how I viewed them when you play them. And that's always a little bit different when you get in the room with them for whatever reason. You get to know their personality a little bit better. So really the approach I take is everyone in this room, if this is our team, everyone in this room I'm coaching. I don't care if you're the free agent rookie. I don't care if you're our all-pro safety linebacker. Everyone, I coach everyone. And this is the offseason to me is big fundamental drill work stuff. So everybody's involved in that. So when I try to make my evaluations, I do it off that. And I try to really press to the players, every drill we do is gonna make you a better football player, whatever position you're in. So that's why we have everyone drilling, because I don't know who's gonna make the team, but I wanna prepare everyone to have the best chance. And that's the first thing I tell them too, is I want everyone to make our 53-man roster, but out of 90, it just doesn't happen. So if we don't make that, I want you to make our practice squad. If you're not able to make that, I want you to help you enough to be a football player to make another roster. And so that's the way I approach it. So really, we're training everybody. And however that shakes out, and then we decide where the depth chart looks like and how we go from there.
Kyle said that he'd always liked your energy and the way that your teams competed against each other. Were you aware of his interest at all, or did it come as a surprise when this job opportunity came up, or was it something that that would be perfect, or how did you look at it?
You know, I always followed Kyle, and it wasn't like we kept in touch a lot, but I always had a lot of respect for him, and obviously this organization. So when the opportunity arose, I was really excited because I know what he's about, and it was really important to me for him to know what I'm about too, because that's always part of the deal too.
What's your impression of Robbie Gould, and why was Kyle Juszczyk having to hold today? Was Wisnowski not around?
Yeah, Mitch had a personal thing, so he wasn't here, and it's always good anyway to get Juice in there. But Robbie's great. You know, we've competed a lot over the years. A real professional. Obviously, he's been doing it a long time. One of the first specialists that loves to go talk football. So that's a cool experience for me too. Like, he knows football. He knows kickoff return, front line play. You know, he's interested in that. He's interested in breaking down and looking at the opposing team's kickoff return. So that's cool. That's cool. So that's been a fun experience. Instead of just, most specialists are just so specialized in what they do that they're not seeing the big picture a lot. So he really enjoys it. So I've loved it.
Say some more.
What you described last year sounds very nice, Montana and San Diego and high school football. I mean, if I could just say it's a crazy grind in life. Did you ever have a pause like, maybe I want to be a normal person again?
No, you know what? It made me feel more normal. What was weird to me though is like if I'd go out on Sunday and people would just be doing normal everyday stuff, I was like, what? There's football going on, don't you? You know, so it took me a while to get that, but I think just I needed the perspective, because sometimes we can get lost in this. And you know, when I've been doing it since '94, and you know, it is you miss a lot of high school games, which drove me crazy, and you miss a lot of things, and you try to get to everything you can, and then as your third child goes to college, it's like, what happened? You know, so I needed to step back, and I'm really happy I did. But it's just the best way to explain it to me is just perspective has changed on everything in my life.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
the vibe around the team for these first 2 days of camp?
They've been really good. Good vibe, having some of the guys that haven't been around be back in the buildings. Great to see Debo and Trent and Bosa. So that definitely pepped everybody up, had us in high spirits the first couple days. But just feel like things have been going well. I feel like we've been having some good, solid practices out there, getting better, and just, I'd say vibes are high right now.
Have you been here the whole time?
I got here at the beginning of phase 3.
Just what's been the feeling, just how Trey Lance has carried himself, how's he kind of acted in this role that he's been elevated to?
Yeah, I can only say positive things. I feel like Trey has done a really good job in really taking on all the different parts of being the QB1. We feel like at least myself, I feel like I've seen improvement on the field as far as his performance. You've seen a lot of big plays out there. And as a leader, I just feel like he's stepped up. He's just a very natural leader, a guy that people gravitate towards, and it's all been good so far.
You're out there doing some special teams drills. Do you form any first impressions of Coach Schneider, the special teams coach?
Yeah, really good first impressions. I like his style. He's very upbeat, up-tempo, positive, and aggressive. And I think that's going to carry over to our special teams unit this year. I feel like we're going to be much more aggressive. We're going to be attacking more and really bringing it to teams as opposed to the other way around.
There's a young woman in Portugal who's been drawing Jimmy Garoppolo every day until he gets traded. I'm just wondering if you've seen that and what your thoughts are on it.
No, I haven't seen that, but that's I don't know when she started, but she's gonna be drawing for a while. I feel like yeah, that's impressive.
All but one of the offensive position coaches is new this year. Has there been a kind of an overarching theme to what Kyle has looked for to, with these staff changes, and what have you noticed as far as how the workflow of the offensive meeting rooms and all that is going with that new staff?
Yeah, I was caught off guard a little bit my first day here and walking in. There's a lot of new faces, so it took a couple days to kind of get used to that. But as far as the workflow and just the language we speak and how we install everything, a lot of the guys were just in different positions here and kind of brought up. There's a few new faces with, Coach Lynn and Coach Greasy. But I feel like those guys have been in some sort of system similar to ours that it hasn't been too different. It really has been kind of, similar just because we're all kind of speaking the same language.
There's about half the starters aren't practicing. It just seems it's a different look on the practice field right now for a good reason. So how do you guys kind of gauge what's taking place on the field in terms of, what your expectations will be once camp comes?
Yeah, it's kind of hard because, you don't know exactly if that's going to be the group that'll be out there on Sundays. But at the end of the day, you really do need, everybody on the roster by the end of the season usually makes some kind of appearance. So you like to see things still going well, even if it is the 2s or the 3s, and a lot of those guys are going to have a chance to make an impact at some point. But it is, it's kind of hard to set expectations right now just because we haven't seen, 2 fresh units on offense and defense of, really the ones.
Debo was getting pretty excited and encouraging after some of those big plays today. His demeanor in the locker room, on the field, is it the same as it was before? Do you see any difference?
His specifically? Yeah. Debo seems the same. Seems like the same guy. He's always been positive, always, hyping up his teammates, and that hasn't really changed.
Kyle, given your advancing age for an NFL player and the position you play, do you change how you train in the offseason?
You know what? Yes, it's changed every year. Even when I went from being 24 to 25 years old, it changed. So there's always little tweaks. But I would say the overarching program stays pretty similar, but there are, tweaks you make every year.
Is it like less, less stress on the body in some ways?
I would just say different stressors. I'm not putting 500 pounds on the squat bar anymore. I feel like I can, get that work in different ways. I'm big into like plyometrics now, big into change of direction. I like to, in the off seasons, I like to be, I don't know what the correct word for it is, but multi-sported, I like to play a ton of different sports in the off season because I think there's different training in it. Like I love playing pickleball, tennis, golf, like all those kind of things. I do feel like there's a correlation there, tracking a ball at high speeds, change of direction, all those type of things. So I like to incorporate that in the off season as well.
In a similar vein, I mean, 6 Pro Bowls in 6 years, do you emphasize different areas of your game? Is there something that this version of you this season you'd like to see doing better than what you've done in the past?
Yeah, I think you always pick out something from the previous season that you would like to work on and get a little bit better at, and I think specifically for this season, it's really I want to have the same strength and explosion at the end of the season that I did at the beginning of the season. So if anything, it's just kind of extending my workouts right now and being able to lock in at the end of the workout and know, okay, this is like I'm in the fourth quarter of a game. There's going to be a time when this comes up in the season. Have the correct mindset and being able to execute at that time.
Did you kind of feel like maybe you wore down a little last year? Is that what?
You know what? It was a long season. That one game made a difference. Playing in the wild card game made a difference. So that's just something that now that I've experienced, I think it was 20 weeks straight. That's just something that I can have better preparation for next season.
How different is it for you to not have Bobby Turner around, and do you still keep in touch with him? Like, can he avoid like texting or whatever?
Yeah, we still text, and I miss my guy so much. I mean, that's the longest time I've ever had one position coach was for 5 years with Bobby T, and he's had a tremendous impact on my career and just me as a person. But Coach Lynn has been a great transition, and actually very similar to Bobby T. I mean, he was coached by Bobby T, so they have a lot of the same phrases, a lot of the same coaching points, but he brings his own flair to it. He's not an exact replica of Bobby T, but he has his own stuff too. So it's always good to have some new perspective as well.
That's good. There was David, was it you posted the video of you by the blocking sled?
Yeah, who was it? That was me. Yeah.
What was going on there? What was that about?
There's a drill that Coach Lynn was putting me through. It's really as simple as it looks. So we're just getting used to being in that blocking position. So he just had me hold a couple ISOs.
Were you thinking, like, when's this going to end?
He told me there were 2 45-second ISOs, so at least I knew when it was going to end. He counted out loud as he was circling me.
All right. Thank you guys.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Sampson, coming off last season, your first year for the Niners, what do you kind of zero in on and how you can improve and what's been your focus this offseason?
Just playing faster, getting off the rock quicker, being more decisive on plays, and just, you know what I'm saying, that's it.
Does that come with just knowledge of the defense or what you're being asked to do, or how do you?
Definitely. Knowledge is huge because I know that the better and the more comfortable I get with the play calling, the faster I'm gonna play on the field, and we're repping that in practice right now, so it feels pretty good.
Around I think it was week 14 in Cincinnati last year, your stats exploded past that point. Was that a product of you just getting comfortable with that knowledge that you're talking about?
Yeah, definitely. The more reps that you get, like the more comfortable that your body gets doing it, and at that time in the season, everything just kind of tightened up because we knew that we had to win every game just to keep going. So with that added pressure, I think it kind of like sharpened the skills of everybody. So it was good.
Did you talk with any specifics about what clicked for you? Because it was a dramatic change last year. I mean, I know it's like easy just to look at sack totals, and I know there's more to it than that, but I think you had 1 sack in your first 12 games, and then you had at least a half a sack in 7 of your last 8. I just looked this up, so hope I'm impressing you with this knowledge. But I mean, it does seem dramatic. I mean, can you talk specifically about, you know, some of the things that you're
just all the moves that I was trying to hit early in the year wasn't working, and I just kept at it, and I just ended up turning them into sacks. You know, I just had to keep going, keep believing, you know, and my effort was going to handle the rest of it.
Did you ever feel any pressure earlier in the season?
There's always pressure. That's just the name of the game. There's always going to be pressure, whatever you're doing in any position in this game. So you just got to be able to handle it. And I've been in here this is about to be my year 6, so I've gotten pretty comfortable with pressure.
How beneficial is it to have Nick Bosa on the line with you, and how does he look different this year as opposed to last year?
Man, it's great. He's smooth, you know what I'm saying? He's good with his hands, good with his feet. All I know is slide all the calls to his way, so I get my one-on-ones and win.
What are your impressions been of Drake Jackson?
Damn. He's good. He's good. He's going to be a key factor in this defense. Because I've been seeing him run all the drills, and I'm just like, man, he's athletic, he's big, he's got young legs, so he's able to just keep going all day. And me seeing him doing that, I'm just like, oh yeah, I got somebody that could push me, So he's pushing me. He's gonna push others as well. So that room in general is just like, it's so close knit, and we're able to push each other every day just to get better.
Is there one quality about him that stands out in particular?
One quality is like he's a soap, or he's a sponge. Actually, I'm gonna say that, but he's a sponge. He's able to just click in and just listen to what others are saying, because in that room, people are selfless. So whenever we see something, like anybody doing something wrong, we'll tell them, oh yeah, you might need to tweak it like this, because then maybe you can get off quicker. And everyone just kind of buys in, and he's one of those that, because he knows that it's his first year, so he's just kind of like whatever people say, he's applying it to the field, and he's getting better and better every day.
Good. Cool. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
How you doing, Nick?
Good, how are you?
What was the focus of your time away here? What did you try to do, either technique-wise to hone or body-wise? What's kind of been the focus?
It was kind of just normal off-season training that I didn't really get to do last year as much. I was kind of like working my way back to being healthy, and this year I was healthy from the start, so I took some time off and then just got after it. And up to this point, it's been mainly just focusing on getting my body where it needs to be to play a long season. And from here on out, I'll be implementing a lot more football-specific stuff.
You said at the end of last season you plan to come back in better shape. Do you feel like you've done that?
Most definitely, yeah.
Can you give us like a maintenance report on how the knee's feeling, whether you got leaner, what's the body like?
I didn't do a DEXA yet, but I've definitely, I think I'm maybe the same weight, but I think, I don't know, I mean, I've been pretty strict on it for a couple of years now with the diet, but I don't know, it's just a better overall off season because it wasn't just, I was able to enjoy myself a little bit because I wasn't just grinding and then resting like I needed to for my knee. But now the knee's doing great. I'm able to just go about my life normally, which is nice.
Did you take any vacations, or were you just training in South Florida the whole time?
I did a few vacations in the beginning, and then I live in Fort Lauderdale, so I bought a boat. So that's been my extracurricular.
Where are you at? Kyle said the team and your representatives haven't started discussing a contract extension. Do you have a sense of when that might take place?
I do not, no.
Are you interested in when that might take place?
I'm sure I'll be notified.
Is that something you'd like to get done before this season?
I don't know. I've just been focusing on getting better. Let my agent worry about that.
Your impressions of Drake Jackson and what kind of interactions have you had with him so far?
You said Drake?
Drake, yeah.
Just really nice kid. He's super talented. He does things out there that I definitely couldn't do as a rookie, just the way he moves. And he's definitely got some impressive stuff about him, but it's only been 2 days where I've seen him. Just great dude, though. Just wants to learn, and just really appreciative to be here, and I'm glad we got him.
What is it about the way he moves that you couldn't do?
Just his bend and his mobility that young. I think his gymnastics background or whatever, he just could bend really well, and that's something I had to improve on as my career has gone on, as I've trained with my brother and our trainer. But yeah, he's just got it naturally, so if he could keep building and keep getting better, it'll be pretty scary.
Is there a comfort level having Kerry Hyder back in the group?
Yeah, it's good. Just so much depth this year with Trey and Charles and Kerry and Sampson. I mean, Jordan will come back. We're going to have to use some extra roster spots on the D-line for sure.
Last year, the entirety of the group really hit its stride around that game in Cincinnati, where the stats and the sacks and everything blew up. I know there's new faces this year, slightly new collection of guys, but do you feel good about you guys being able to pick up where you left off as far as that cohesion goes?
Yeah, I think we'll be better for sure.
Do you follow the draft? I mean, are you watching in round 2 when your team takes a defensive end?
Yeah, I watched our first 2 picks. I was confused. I thought we drafted an inside linebacker, and I was like, we got plenty of those. And then they started showing highlights, and I was like, all right, I see why we did that.
As linebacker?
Yeah, it just said linebacker, and I hadn't heard of him yet, so it's pretty crazy that somebody that talented is still there at that point.
Anything else? All right, appreciate it, Nick. Thank you.